fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. It's late Monday. Just got in. We had a fantastic weekend traveling to two wonderful branches. I'll talk about that in a second. But so my wife wanted to go with me, wanted a road trip. So we drove. We drove to Davenport, Iowa, and then over to Nebraska, and then back home. And so we are just getting in. It is late. It is 10 o'clock here. And so I've been driving all day. And so just getting in and had to run in here and do this episode. I'm going to cover two things, change it up a little bit. I told you last week, 271G. I'm going to hold off on that till next Monday. Okay, my son's getting married this week, so I will not do an episode Sunday. It'll be another late one Monday. Okay, Monday night. But yeah, just getting in off the road. Ass is wore out. And so, but I'm going to do this episode because I told you I would. But yeah, we had a fantastic couple of days. Went to Branch 506 in Davenport, Iowa, and spoke with them. James and I did. Fantastic group of individuals. A lot of love there for the CLC. A lot of people interested. A lot of questions. And so we had a great time. I always love seeing my people, though. Wherever we go, I love seeing my people. You see people coming, our brothers and sisters coming, still in their uniforms late at night where they just got off work. And that's what it's about. That's what all of this is about. It's about light blue. And so I love seeing that. And then we went to Branch 5 in Omaha, Nebraska. Another great meeting on a Sunday. And it was full. And a lot of people came out on a Sunday afternoon to listen, ask a lot of questions there as well. James and I got to go over our plan. And the good thing about that is afterwards had a few carriers come up and said, hey, I wasn't sure about y'all at first, especially you, talking about me. And just hearing y'all lay it out, what's going to happen, the plan, the fact that there's a slate. It's not just, somebody running by themselves. Hell, that's Renfro, just doing things by himself. But the fact that there is a team ready to go day one, a slate against the establishment, against the status quo. And they said, we just wanted to hear y'all live and in person. And so it's fantastic, man. It's a fantastic time. And this week we'll be in Vegas. There's the Region 1 rap session will be there. So we'll be there in force, the CLC. Be doing some fundraising. That chaps a lot of people's asses for some reason. Fundraising. Don't know why, but we're campaigning. We're raising funds. And so we're going to have a mailing. We're going to do a mailing. We're going to get our slate into every member's hands, and that's going to take a lot of money. James and I are doing this on our own dime, own time. Both of us are already in leave without pay, and we're paying out of our own pockets. I know a lot of dumbasses on social media saying that the money that we're collecting is going towards that. They're fucking liars. And if you see it, tell them they're a fucking liar. This is coming out of our own pockets, our own savings. To get out there and spread the word. So, but a fantastic weekend. A fantastic weekend. Now, we're tired. I'm bushed. But I'm going to go over a few things. I know that y'all saw the updates. And one thing that people were missing on these updates, and this is one of the things that it pisses me off when you see it because of the things that we've been through. And you talk about collective bargaining. And I know that Renfro's putting out these things about having these meetings up there about collective bargaining, but this is what the latest one said. The NELC included ideas such as relaxing the procedures relating to rest breaks and lunches, notifying the union of all accidents, not just vehicle accidents, increasing the number of paid holidays for city carrier assistants. And you have to stop right there. Okay? Increasing the number of paid holidays for city carrier assistants. Now, I watched the Postmaster General get up in front of the country and talk about how broke we were. Okay? And we had an episode on that. About how broke we are. We're not going to be able to deliver mail. And some of the things that we're going to do is we're going to cut out overtime. go to 5-day work week, raise the price of stamps, and also we're going to go towards, we're leaning more towards a non-career workforce. And the guy says, you mean part-time? Yeah, a non-career workforce. And one of the things that we've been saying this whole time, one of the things when you say you have a line in the sand, is that we need an all-career workforce. Okay? That's mandatory. Those things will force us to arbitration. When James and I take over in the CLC and the executive council, whoever that's going to be, when we come up with a game plan, one of the things that's going to force us to arbitration, one of the lines in the sand is an all-career workforce. That's going to remedy a lot of things when you talk about the retention rate and things like that, also wages, an all-career workforce. I think that that's one of the things that will force us to arbitration. So when I read that, and I hear the Postmaster General saying, hey, we're going to be leaning more towards a non-career workforce, and I see that the union has put in ideas such as increase the number of paid holidays for city carrier assistants, I realize that we've already conceded the fact that we're not going to go for an all-career workforce. The fact that we're talking about more holidays for CCAs means that we're going to keep CCAs. We're not going to fight for an all-career workforce. You would think that with all the meetings that he's had, all these teams, all these things going on up there about collective bargaining, all of these collective bargaining committees, and now we've got another thing going on up there, that somebody would say, hey, look, it's got to be an all-career workforce or arbitration. If that's going to be one of our things, to me, table 2, do away with that or it's arbitration, okay? You got to have a substantial starting wage. Not just in speak, not just in talk. You got to have that. The Postal Service says we're broke. They made $80-something billion, and they're saying that they're broke, okay? The only ones broke in the Postal Service is the city letter carrier craft. That's the only ones broke. Nobody else is broke. Management, they're not broke. They're still talking about their bonuses and things, incentives that they get, their raises that they get. Like I said before, if we're broke, everybody's broke. If we're broke, all of us are broke. It cannot be just the city letter carriers that are broke. Management's still, like I said, giving themselves them fat-ass raises and stuff. They're not broke. We're broke. So what we cannot do is kowtow to them. The man says we're going to go more towards a non-career workforce. I'm going to go in there and say we're going to go to an all-career workforce. That's got to be a position, but we've already conceded that with their own collective bargaining update. It's right there in paper, in black and white. And so, but it's just one of those things, you know, when you look back, you're like, you learn nothing. You learn nothing by what happened in the TA. You didn't learn anything. And so, it's frustrating. It's something that somebody sent me, and we went back and forth about it and talked about it. And it's just frustrating that we've been doing all this talking. We've been doing all this talking. There's got to be lines in the sand. There's got to be those things that it's this or arbitration. 100% COLA should have been done the first day. That should have already been settled. That should have been in that update. Hey, we already agreed that we're going to get 100% COLA. We're getting a full COLA for everybody. The other crafts have it. We should have had that within the first day. Hey, look, y'all know what I'm going to say. We need a full COLA for everybody. We know. We've been fucking you over for the years on that. You are the only ones not getting a full COLA. We'll get you that. That should have been day one. That should have been day one. And then there's lines in the sand, like I said. Hey, table 2, no. You can't have such a disparity between the top step and the bottom step. You cannot have the penthouse and the outhouse. We cannot run our carrier craft like that. It's an embarrassment to our carriers, if you're going to say an injury to one is an injury to all, to have the penthouse and you have the outhouse. And you're going to tell these table 2 carriers, look, y'all are very important to us, but we're not going to fight for y'all. The time in between steps, the disparity in pay, $30,000, is insanely egregious. And so that would be something that you would say, we got to do away with the 2 tables. We got to do away with that. Or we're going to arbitration. We've got to have not just a good starting wage, a substantial starting wage, or we're going to arbitration. We've got to have an all-career workforce, or we're going to arbitration. James always says, a rising tide lifts all boats. We got to start from the bottom and work our way up. We have people living in poverty. We have carriers living in poverty today. A union job now. Fast food workers, car wash workers make more than carriers. And that's a shame. But those are the updates I want to see. I want to see people in there shredding shit up, going to fight for the city letter carrier. We have got to get away from this passive ass attitude that we have. And I'm going to talk about something in a minute that's going to make y'all laugh. But as a union, and this is going to be one of the greatest challenges we have when we take over, is getting rid of this coward ass, passive ass attitude of our union and those on the workroom floor. We've got to be the fucking alphas again. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But yeah, that update hit, and somebody sent that to me, and we were going back and forth. Like, my man has already conceded the CCA craft. You had the Postmaster General tell you we're going more towards a non-career workforce, and we're not even going to fight that. We've already conceded it. Well, if we're going to keep CCAs, give them some more holidays. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating. The two things I'm going to go over, I put up a status, and it was wild, son. It was wild. But and I'll read some things that are pretty fucking funny. But I put up a status this week, and here's how I do for Made Arbitration. Here's what happens during the week. If I have a couple of people call me about something, and it's the same thing, I'm going to help them. If I have numerous carriers reach out about something, then we got something going on nationwide. And then I'm going to address it on From 8 Arbitration, the hour office time, stationary events, undertime, forcing undertime, all these things. When you have things like that, then I'm going to address it on this podcast. I'm going to educate everybody, just in case it's happening everywhere. That's what I'm always going to do. And so we had something come up this week that was exactly what I'm talking about. There was this safety thing on seat belts, and people were reaching out. They didn't do it at my station, so I had no idea. So people reaching out and they're saying, hey, Corey, they gave this safety video at work. And after the video, they passed around this locally generated form and were requiring carriers to sign it. I said, well, that's a grievance. You know, you can't pass around a locally generated form and expect us to sign it. That's a grievance. It's a locally generated form, not promulgated. It's not a PS form. And you can't require us to sign anything. After about 3 or 4 messaged me about that, I put up a status. Said, hey, I'll read the status. Here's the status I wrote on From 8 Arbitration, the Facebook page. It says, management is doing mandatory stand-up talks about seatbelts, and in some stations, they're requiring us to sign a locally generated form pledging to wear our seatbelts. They're also showing a video, which has National Safety Director Manny Peralta in it, and stating the NALC is in agreement to sign this form. I'd grieve this form. Under the Administrative Support Manual, ASM Section 324-325, C, that's an arbitration case, 00427, M1325, M852, M544, and M1302. So I'll read that again, because I had to go back and read it 3 or 4 times to make sure that I wrote down exactly what I meant to write down. Management is doing mandatory stand-up talks about seatbelts, and in some stations, they are requiring us to sign a locally generated form pledging to wear our seatbelts. I'll read that part again. And in some stations, they are requiring us to sign a locally generated form pledging to wear our seatbelts. They're also showing a video which has National Safety Director Manny Peralta in it and stating the NALC is in agreement to sign this form. I'd grieve the form. I had to read that like 10 times because the comments were insane. I'd grieve the form. That's what it says. I'd grieve the form. Not the stand-up talk, not the video. I'd grieve the form. And I had the craziest ass comments. There was 300 some comments. People saying, you can't grieve a video. I said, no, you can't grieve a video. This is about the form. So you're saying that we shouldn't wear our seatbelts. No, this is about the form. So the union's saying now that we're not in agreement with management to be safe and wear seatbelts. No, this is about the form. I don't care if the form was about us playing tiddlywinks. I'm grieving the form. Why? Because we are not required to sign a locally generated form for anything. It could be, the form could say, I, Corey Walton, pledge to have a great day today. I'm not signing it. Also, you don't want to have a great day? I'm going to have a great day anyway. I'm going to have a great day. You don't have a control over that. I'm going to wear my seatbelt because I know to wear my seatbelt. I don't need to raise my hand and make a pledge like I'm in kindergarten. And then they had some saying we're going to go outside and video you taking the pledge. I got something for that. They were taking pictures of carriers taking the pledge. I got something for that. This is about grieving the form. It became a whole life of its own. It was insane. And I'm thinking, did I write this right? I mean, did I? And first off, the video with Manny's just in support of wearing the seatbelts. In some cases, they were saying that NELC was in agreement to sign the form because Manny was in there. That's not the case. In some, it was a poster board that you signed when you left. People are saying, so you're going to say you don't sign a poster board? This is about a locally generated form. But I tell you, when you think, after you do all this for so long, been doing it 3 years, I don't know how long I'm doing now. When you think, man, you know what? It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. I've educated enough. Maybe it's just time to call it quits and do that. But you do get these little nuggets of affirmation from people, you know. And this is one of them. This is one of those little words of affirmation that you get. And it was based off of this status. And so when you read it, you're like, you know what? You are making a difference in people's lives. You know, you are making a difference. You're educating people. And so I wanted to read this because it touched me when I read it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this 8 more years because of people like this that reach out and show me this love. It says, hey, from 8 Arbitration, saying that every little thing should get shitty workers such as yourself a free payout and idiotic. And I'm thinking, now this person is one of my own. I'll read that first part again. This is exactly how it's written. And this is from, I think her name is Danielle. Saying that every little thing should get shitty workers, such as yourself, a free payout and idiotic. The union is the biggest joke in the post office. You are here to support lazy, terrible at their job, want to fuck over their fellow co-workers, and every CCA get money for free, fat, miserable, and wait, did I already say lazy carriers? Laugh out loud. I have not once seen the union do anything for the actual workers. Not one single time. Your goal in this organization is to make life harder for everyone except the lazy ones. The fact that you are spreading lies instead of telling people to watch the video where every single one of these topics are addressed, and you're telling them to file to get free money for the company wanted to try to help with a huge real safety issue, and you're trying to find a way to get free money out of it. It sickens me. You and people like you are disgusting, always looking for a handout. And I read that and I was like, I appreciate you, sister, for reaching out and telling me how much you appreciate me educating. And it's things like that It's just these little nuggets of affirmation that keep me going. Just when I feel like giving up. Just when I think, you know what, you've done enough. You've educated enough. You've done more than your share. Let other people take it over. And then I get this from a sweet sister who says, getting shitty workers such as yourself a free payout and idiotic. God bless you, sister. I appreciate that. And not once did I say anything about money. But if I could, I would. I would tell them, ask for some money. I didn't. I said, grieve the form. But this person says, the fact that you're spreading lies, that somebody reached out to me and said they're making us sign a locally generated form is a lie now. The fact that you're spreading lies instead of telling people to watch the video. I don't give a fuck if you watch the video. Some places said they had the video playing and told them to keep sticking around and they have the volume up. So they don't give a fuck about the video. But this person said, the fact you're spreading lies instead of telling people to watch the video where every single one of these topics are addressed and you're telling them to file to get free money. I had to go back and read the post again to make sure I didn't say anything about money. Let me make sure now. Management is doing mandatory stand-up talks about seatbelts, and in some stations, they're requiring us to sign a locally generated form pledging to wear our seatbelts. They're also showing a video which has National Safety Director Manny Peralta in it and stating the NLC is in agreement to sign the form. I'd grieve the form. No, nothing about money. But it's just those things that keep me going. So God bless you, sister. I'll just read some of the comments. I've read that to you, what I wrote. Management didn't have us sign anything at my office. Plus, wearing seatbelts should be common sense. I said, yep, but in some stations, they're requiring carriers to sign a form. We will educate them on that. Nope, it is optional. Now, that's what somebody's telling me. Nope, it's optional. So I just said, are you speaking for the entire country? Because I had numerous carriers telling me that they're being required to sign it. And so here's Danielle coming back. Let me guess. He must be in management because he's questioning your lies. I said, lies about what? And so that's one. Here's another one. This is Christy. She's another fan. What's sad about this post is your managers really care that you go home to your family in one piece. I would beg to differ. I would refer you to Eugene Gates Jr. Don't ever tell me that management gives a shit about us. I will always refer to Eugene Gates Jr. on that. Okay? Keep it moving, beat the heat. I don't know if you remember that, Christy. But you're so full of hate, you can't see past your own rhetoric. Now, this is based off of one saying, telling y'all to file a grievance against the form. I'll start again. What's sad about this post is your managers really care that you go home to your family in one piece. But you're so full of hate, you can't see past your own rhetoric. If no one told you it's important to commit to safe practices, you'd fault that too, entitled and hateful. How sad are these people that represent the Postal Service? I don't represent the Postal Service. I represent the city letter carriers. So I said, requiring carriers to sign a locally generated form is a violation of our national agreement. That's not hateful rhetoric. And so there's another. She comes back. No, but telling them to file a grievance for voluntarily signing a poster board saying they want to be safe is idiotic. This is why the post office is losing money. The post office is losing money because I'm telling them to grieve management requiring us to sign a locally generated form. Told y'all this took on a whole life of its own. Upper management, hey, let's try and encourage carriers to be safe because so many of us die for something as simple as most state laws require. Union file a grievance and try to get free money. Absolutely ridiculous. Free money. That took on a whole life, right, of its own. I just said file on the form. And there's some people that's on from 8 arbitration. They got to be a plant. They got to be in management. encourage carriers to be safe because so many of us die from something as simple as most state laws. I don't care if you encourage me to wear my seatbelt. I wear my seatbelt. You want to play a video, tell me to wear my seatbelt? Fantastic. You want to do a stand-up talk, tell me to wear my seatbelt? Absolutely. I'm in 100% agreement with that. You pass around a form, locally generated form, and require my carriers to sign it, we're grieving that. Here's another. Management does a lot of stuff wrong that should be grieved, but this is the dumbest shit you have ever said. Now that's saying something because I've said some dumb shit before. But she said, management does a lot of stuff wrong that should be grieved, but this is the dumbest shit you've ever said. Funny, I don't remember there being any requirement. Now these are single people that, I had numerous people reach out saying that they were required to do it. That's the reason I put the post up. Were you threatened or disciplined if you didn't sign? A pledge means you agree to follow the law or the rules set forth. You're just another one looking to make the job more difficult. Here's another one. Michael, he wrote this. Of course we grieve. What? How about just wear the seatbelt? It saves lives. Why is it always adversarial? So it's not about wearing a seatbelt. It's about requiring carriers to sign a locally generated form. I bet I wrote that 70 times. To let management violate the contract in the name of safety is ignorance. And then, here's another one. What's to gain by grieving this? So I put back, following the contract? ? He said, this is Patrick, clogging the system with nitpick grievances. Step B is backed up with real items that are costing carriers money or possible termination. Reminds me of the heat training uproar. So this guy didn't like the heat training. So I just said, are you in management? Because here's one thing that I will not do. I will never tell carriers not to file grievances because of a backlog of grievances. That's not the carrier's fault. We're the agreed, first off. So if the carrier is agreed and they have a grievance, file it. Don't ever not file a grievance because of a backlog. That's not our responsibility. That's the NALC's responsibility. They should be handling that. But you have people saying that when management violates the contract now, there's a level of it. Up here, we're going to grieve this. Down here, we're not. Why? Because there's a backlog of grievances. So we're going to let them violate the contract with these things here because these are nitpick things, right? So we're not going to file grievances on this list here, but up here we're going to file on this. Down here, no, because that's nitpick. I'll tell you what you do, Patrick. Next time management takes one of your carriers into an investigative interview and they say, we're going to question you about your attendance, Patrick. You've had 3 occurrences in 8 months. I want you to say that's nitpick. Tell them, answer all their questions, that nitpick. Now, you were absent on this date. Why? That's nitpick. You're absent on this day. Why? That's nitpick. Okay. The third, that's nitpick. Just say that's nitpick. Then when you go into arbitration and the advocate questions you about your attendance, just answer the shit as that's nitpick. Matter of fact, have your informal make their contentions. No contractual language. Just say nitpick. And then at the formal step A, have this formal step A represented for us in the full and detailed statement of facts relied upon, say nitpick. And see if that will get you out of your discipline, right? Because the fact that they're going to cite 3 occurrences, 8 months, that's nitpick, right? But they're still going to do it. You know why? Because they don't like us. You know why I'm going to go after them? Because I despise them. That's why. Y'all don't need to listen to me. If y'all are upset at me nitpicking because a violation is a violation, you damn sure don't want me as the executive vice president. Because I'm going to have both my feet in these motherfuckers' asses for however long I'm up there. I will not stop having my foot in their ass. So y'all don't need to vote for me if that is nitpick, okay? Because I'm going to be the nitpickiest motherfucker there is, because I've got 2 things that hold management and the union accountable. I've got the JCAM and I've got the Constitution. And I'm going to hold both parties to both of them, right? Call it nitpick, don't give a fuck. If management is requiring my carriers to sign a locally generated form and they contact me, baby, I'm going to help them. And I'll write the contentions for them. I have to. I'm going to help them. Why? Because the only thing that matters to me is light fucking blue. And if you motherfuckers don't like that, fuck off. Nitpick. Nitpick my ass. Here's another one. This is Jerry. Do we not support wearing seatbelts? Do we not support wearing seatbelts? I said, did you read the post? We're not required to sign locally generated forms. And then I told somebody, I said, I need to do like an episode on reading comprehension. Here's another one talking about the grievances in a business that's going under. And there are plenty of reasons if we look inward as well. I said, we're not a business, we're a service. Another reason why. I said, why? To follow the Constitution? Because we're a service. We need to operate as a business to survive. So that's the buffoonery that was just off of that one post. I'm like, my gosh, that's terrible. But we're going to grieve it. We're going to grieve the form. Here's what we got. All right, here's what we got. We're going to grieve the form. We're going to go over that, how we're going to grieve it. And then I'm going to do the video and then the pictures, because I'm going to grieve the motherfuckers on that too. Why? Because I don't like them motherfuckers. That's why. And so I'm going to grieve every fucking thing that they do. Why? Because I've got a JCAM, an agreement between us and them. When they violate it, I'm going to grieve it. That's just how I am. That's the reason I started a podcast, to educate y'all on what to grieve and how to grieve. That had to be some management motherfuckers right there. Wouldn't y'all say? Wouldn't y'all agree with that? That had to be some management motherfuckers in that. The Administrative Support Manual, the ASM, sections 324 and 325. All right? The ASM, section 324 and 325. You're going to look up C, this is an arbitration, C00427. 00427. Then we've got, get your pen and paper, M1302. 1302. Recently, we met in pre-arbitration discussions the above cash and grievance. The issue in this grievance is whether management violated the national agreement when a local policy was issued and carriers were required to sign off that they were present when the information was read to them. After reviewing this matter, the parties mutually agreed. You know what that means? Both parties. Us and them. That's what mutually agrees means. The parties mutually agreed to the following. There is no requirement that a carrier sign that the subject information was received. There is no requirement that a carrier sign that the subject information was received. Okay? Here's another one. M852. M852. And that first one was from 1998, so this goes all the way back then. M852. This is 1988. The issue in this grievance is whether local management violated the national agreement when it promulgated certain locally developed forms. During our discussions, we mutually agreed that no national interpretive issue is presented in this case. We also agreed that the issuance of local forms and the local revisions of existing forms is governed by Section 324.12 of the Administrative Support Manual. The locally developed forms at issue were not promulgated according to the ASM Section 324.12. Therefore, management will immediately discontinue their use. And we're going to use that on these motherfuckers going around requiring my people to sign a locally generated form about anything. I don't give a fuck what the topic is. We're not going to do it. Why? Because both parties told us we don't have to, and management can't require us to do so. M1325. M1325. The issue in this grievance is whether management violated the national agreement when it used a locally developed form. During our discussions, we mutually agreed that no national interpretive issue is presented in this case. We also agreed that the issuance of a local forms and the local revision of existing forms is governed by Section 325 of the Administrative Support Manual, the ASM. The locally modified form at issue is not promulgated according to ASM 325.12. Therefore, management will discontinue using this form. Here's M544. This is 1985. The issuance in this grievance is whether management is properly using a locally developed form to document employees' responsibilities concerning the operation of postal vehicles, like seatbelt usage. I just added that. During our discussion, we mutually agreed that management may document the fact that specific provisions of handbooks and manuals were reviewed by the carriers and that information regarding vehicle operations was given to the carriers. However, inasmuch as there is no national requirement for carriers to acknowledge that the subject information was received, carriers should not be required to sign a local form such as those referenced to in this grievance. Here's another, M00015. M00015. This is 1977. The matters presented by you as well as the applicable contractual provisions have been reviewed and given careful consideration. Signatures or initials may be required to verify attendance at a meeting, receipt of a document, etc. However, to require an employee to sign that he has read and understood instructions as a condition of employment which disciplinary action may be administered is inappropriate. And so there's another. All right. So there's some good ones for you because we're going to grieve the fact that management is requiring carriers to sign locally generated forms. We're not grieving the stand-up talk. We're not grieving the video. We're not grieving any of that. What we're grieving is management requiring us to sign a locally generated form, any locally generated form. Any locally generated form. We have got to get out of the mindset that some abuse is okay. We've got to get out of that mindset that, hey, it's a violation, but it's a small violation. We've got to get out of that mindset. We've got to get in the mindset that JCAM means something. The national agreement means something. It's the only protection we have from management. It's it. When it's violated, we grieve it. Because when you don't, then they start understanding that they are conditioning the frog. You don't grieve that? What else will you not grieve? How about them taking us out and videoing us out in the parking lot, making a pledge? That's a grievance. How about them taking pictures of us on the workroom floor, taking the pledge? That's a grievance. When carriers are asking, why are you taking pictures? Because the district manager wants y'all on record. That's a grievance. We've got to get out of the mindset that some abuse is okay. No abuse at any time ever is okay. We've got to get in the mindset that we are the apex predator at all times, especially as the union. We have gotten so far away from that, man. One of the biggest things, the biggest thrills we have when we go speaking is I ask people, if you had a list, what would be on the top of it? What are you looking for from your union, from your president? What are you looking for? If you had a list, what would be on it? What would be at the top? And every time we go somewhere, people say, my union to fight. My union to fight. That happened this weekend. My union to fight. That's what they want. That's what city letter carriers want. They want to see their union fight. I just showed you this update, collective bargaining update. What they say? More paid holidays for CCAs. We have already conceded an all-career workforce. My union has no idea how to fight. No idea. We have got to be the apex predator again. Anytime we walk in a room, we've got to be the baddest motherfuckers there. We've got to get that mindset back. That's going to be one of the biggest challenges we have when we take over, is getting back into this mindset that we're going to fight these motherfuckers at every fucking step of the way. I'm going to play something for you. And I love Ray Lewis. He was the best linebacker to ever play football at any level. This motherfucker was bad. But this is him talking about the mentality of a lion. The apex predator. Why the lion is the king of the jungle. And he talks about the mentality. And this is what we have got to get into. I'm going to play it for you.
If the lion is the king of the jungle, how can he be the king of the jungle if he's not the biggest? The elephant is probably one of the biggest. He can't be the fastest because that's a cheetah. He can't be the smartest. So he's not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. So how does a lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality. That's the only difference of a lion and an elephant. When a lion walks up and sees an elephant, he thinks lunch. An elephant thinks run. And it's all mentality. Because when a male lion walks up, he may be outnumbered by a pack of hyenas, but I'm king of my jungle because of my mentality. What happens when you're a gazelle and you're not being pushed, you're not being prodded, you're not given a reward, nobody's encouraging you? What happens when you're a gazelle and the lion's not chasing anymore? You stop running. What happens when you're a lion? When you're a lion, it does not make a difference. You realize that if your family is going to eat, that if that pack of lions is to survive, then you gotta go hunt. A part of being a beast just ain't eating a gazelle. A part of being a beast is the hunt. It's the hunt that they're excited about. They like to see the gazelles run. Then boom, they take off. Because real lions like to hunt. They love the process just as much as they love the prize. And some of y'all just want to score. You don't like the process. You're not in love with the process. A true hunter's goal is not the prize. A true hunter's goal is to hunt. That's what they live for. They live to hunt. They don't just live to catch it. It's the whole process. When you are a true hunter, you don't go by time. You go by the gazelle. When you are a true hunter, you hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one. And then you get another, and then you get another, and you get another. If you're going to do what you say you're going to do, be what you say you're going to be, you're going to have to lion me out. You're a gazelle, you're going to come up short. You're a gazelle, you're going to have an average experience. You're a student, I need you in lion mode. You an entrepreneur, I need you in lion mode. You trying to lose weight, lion mode. You can't do nothing significant in gazelle mode. Nothing. Nothing impressive happens in gazelle mode. Nothing happens in run mode, give up mode, quit mode, scared mode, fearful mode. Nothing happens. Everything happens in lion mode like I'm coming to get you.
That's the mentality we have to have. The process. Everything that we do as a union, you need to be in lion mode. Why? The apex motherfucking predator. I see these comments and it breaks my heart. I know I was laughing, but you got people saying, that's nitpick. Baby, it's the process. You don't understand where we're trying to get. We want a workroom floor that management abides by the contract at all fucking times. That's what we want. The process at the informal step A as a shop steward. What is the process that you took it upon yourself to get the best, to be the best? When you became a shop steward, did you want to be that? Did you want to be the apex predator? When you became the shop steward, it's just something, or were you just the gazelle? The process of that, what was it? Do you educate yourself all the time so that management can never, ever get over on your people? Would you ever, as a shop steward, say, I'm not going to file that because that's nitpick? Look, management's violating the contract in here, but that's nitpick. I'm not going to address it. Is that the shop steward you are, or are you going to be the apex predator? This union, when the CLC takes over, is going to be the apex predator again. As the formal step A, what is the process that you have that's going to make you the best? Are you the gazelle, or are you going to be the fucking lion? You're going to be in those books. You're going to be educating yourself as much as possible because you understand the end game is to win, right? What about the arbitration advocate? Are you going to constantly be reading sites to make sure you're the best of the best? Never, ever get yourself outworked, ever, as an advocate. Don't you ever let labor come in there and outwork you. You may lose, but don't ever let it be because you were outworked. And I will tell that to anybody. You work your ass off as an advocate. You look at sites. You get that case file and you memorize that motherfucker from front to back. And you go in there and you're the apex fucking predator when you sit down in that arbitration room. As the DRT, are you going to go in there and concede every fucking thing? Huh? Are you going to say, man, I can't send this up because of a backlog? Is that what you're going to say? I can't do this cease and desist right here because... But, you know, I can't even say that because management they'll tell me that they can't do that. Is that how you're going to be? We need to be the apex fucking predator again in this union. We have got to get away from this mentality that management can abuse us to some extent because it's nitpick if we bring it up. We've got to get away from that. You've got to be the motherfucking king of the jungle. The fucking apex predator on your floor. You've got to protect your carriers like they are your family. That's exactly what you got to do. And that's exactly the mindset we're bringing into this motherfucker when we win. I will not settle for anything less than that. Every meeting I go to, I want apex predators in that motherfucker. Every time I go somewhere, I want to meet with apex predators. I want motherfuckers coming there fucking king of the jungle. We've got to get back into that mindset if we're going to do what we need to do. That's going to be one of the toughest things because you see just one post. The cowardice that rained down out of that post was heartbreaking. Like I said, I know I'm laughing at this shit, but the cowardice presented in that post right there is heartbreaking. That's the reason we have fallen so far behind as a union. We need fucking hellraisers from the top to the bottom. We need fucking savages from the top to the fucking bottom. We need street fighters from the top to the fucking bottom. We got clowns doing clown fucking shit running for president. I mean clown ass shit. We need lions doing lion type shit. If you want a fucking clown, go to the fucking circus. Do that. This union is hurting because of clown type shit. Motherfuckers, I've never seen the like of cowardice in this union. I see on social media motherfuckers just stepped in their own shit, reaping what they've sowed. Just come out there on their fucking hands and knees just crying about this I'm the victim bullshit. Woe is me. I fuck up everything and I'm the victim. I'm so sick of this victim mentality of this union. And those on social media talking about, hey, look, y'all need to give me this because I'm the victim. Look at what they did for transparency's sake. I'm the victim. I'm the victim again. I've sat back in my own shit and I'm the victim again. Look at me. God dang, man. Fucking fight. Quit this fucking victim mentality and fucking fight. If you're going to fight, fight. Shit. This victim mentality. This woe is fucking me. And y'all want fucking positions. Stand the fuck up. And fight a motherfucker. Shit. Oh, for transparency's sake, I've been fucked over again. Who gives a fuck? God dang. Like I said, gird your fucking loins and step up to it. All this fucking victim mentality bullshit. God dang. And y'all want positions in the fucking union. Look at what they did. Fuck them and what they did. Stand the fuck up and fight somebody. Shit. I came into a meeting looking like a fool and look what they did. Look what they did to me. Motherfucker. Get a fucking set and fight a motherfucker. Quit coming on social media talking about woe is me. Look at what happened. God dang. Alright. Now this is a grievance I filed back in 2018 where management came in and started taking pictures of my carriers. We're going to get back into the mentality of fighting. That's what's coming with the CLC. When you talk about the Lions doing lion type shit, that's the mentality we're bringing back at every training we do. When I talk about educating the workroom floor, everywhere we go, I talk about educating the workroom floor. Not just stewards, not just union representatives. I'm talking about the workroom floor. Why? Because like I always say, an educated workforce is a devastating thing. I don't say an educated union. I say an educated workforce. Because when management comes into an educated workforce, they are already throttled. They are already handcuffed when they come into a station run by fucking lions. Okay? And so that's the mindset we have to get back to. That's the reason it pisses me off, the cowardice that I've been talking about. That string on that thread was the perfect example of the fucking cowardice in this union. Just let them do it. Just let them do it. I know it's a grievance. Just let them do it. You're just causing more hardship. Fuck management. As a union, we've got to understand fuck management. Way back when I was talking about labor, fuck labor. Rule number one, what? Fuck labor. That's rule number one. When I tell you I've seen the depths that they go to hurt my people, and you got people siding with these motherfuckers, as a union, you don't side with management. You're the agent to the city letter carrier. You're the agent to them. You're not the agent to the fucking postal management, the employer. You're the agent to the city letter carrier. Fucking carry yourself like that. If you don't want to, get out of it and let somebody else do it that can do that shit. I need lions doing lion type shit. I don't need clowns doing clown type shit, or cowards doing coward type shit, or bitches doing bitches type shit. I need lions doing lion type shit. That's the reason I'm running with James Henry. I need the street fighters in positions right now. Our union right now needs street fighters. This politics and all this bullshit, it's killed us. This cowardice, it's killed us. We're way behind. They're playing chess. We're playing checkers at every fucking level. The Postmaster General is playing chess. My president, he's playing checkers. Whipping our ass. All right, this is a grievance I filed about taking pictures, okay? Because a lot of carriers reached out again saying, hey, in our stand-up talk, they had us raise our hand, do a pledge, and management's going around taking pictures. I'm grieving that. Why? Because I'm not in a fucking zoo. That's why. My carriers are not zoo animals. That's why. So I'm grieving that shit. If you don't like it, fuck off. Just let management fuck you over. I don't know what to tell you. Sign everything. Let them take pictures. Let them take videos. You know. Stick your own thumb up your ass for all I care. But we're here to fight for city letter carriers. Period. Bottom line. That's all we're going to do. We're fighting for city letter carriers. If you don't like it, fuck off. I don't know what to tell you. So what happened here was management comes in one day and they just start taking pictures of all my carriers. And it's ops. And so I go around and I said, hey, what are y'all doing? Well, my boss wants me to come in here. They don't believe y'all's volumes. You know how they do. They don't believe y'all's volumes, so they want us to take pictures of it. I said, you're not taking pictures of the volume. You're taking pictures of my carriers. Well, they wanted pictures of them sticking them out. I said, you're not going to do that. Well, I got to do it. My boss says, well, I'm going to file a grievance. Well, you got to file a grievance. Well, I did, and we won it. Here's the issue statement. Now, this is for them taking pictures of us, okay? So anybody wanting to know a grievance and issue statement for them taking pictures, here it is. Get you a pen and paper. Did management violate Articles 2, 14, and 19 of the National Agreement via Section 141.2 of the M39 Handbook? Management Instruction AS-882-2011-6. I'm going to read that again. Management Instruction AS-882-2011-6 and ASM 273.172. ASM 273.172 when they took pictures of carriers on the workroom floor while in the performance of their normal office duties. I also had a 17 and 31 because they didn't provide me with the pictures. The dispute resolution team has resolved this grievance. The DRT determines management will cease and desist photographing letter carriers in the performance of their duties and or photographing mail pieces without the required approval notated in Management Instruction AS-882-2011-6. Management has issued an additional cease and desist regarding the failure to provide information requested. Failure to do so in the future may result in union requests for escalated remedies to ensure compliance. And so that's all you need. Okay? We're taking pictures. That's all you need. If you want the DRT decision, JB sent it to me. I can send it to you. It's got the contractual language, but it's going to be exactly what I just read to you. But it's, did management violate Articles 2, 14, and 19 of the National Agreement via Section 141.2 of the M39 Handbook? Management Instruction AS-882-2011-6 and ASM 273.172. All right, that's for them taking pictures. Now, they also said that they had some carriers go out in the parking lot and they were videoing them in a group taking the pledge. So, here's one for them videoing. This is a B-team decision that we used in a JSOV case against a manager, Kirby Ragsdale. And this was from 2007. He was out videoing carriers on the street, one particular carrier on the street. And they filed a grievance, and this is one that we had in arbitration. Issue: did management violate Articles 2, 14, and 19 of the National Agreement, ELM Section 665.23, the M39 Handbook, Section 115, and 134.22 by allowing letter carrier so-and-so be videoed? The dispute resolution team, now here's what the DRT team, they contacted the OIG and asked about this. Can management do it? Here's what they said. Here's where you need your pen and paper. The dispute resolution team has reviewed all documentation contained in the case file and has agreed to resolve the grievance. The local postal inspection service was contacted for guidance in this matter. Management instruction AS-882-2007-6. Now this is what the postal inspectors told them. Management instruction AS-882-2007-6 and ASM 273.172 were provided as reference in addressing this subject. The team agrees that the above references do not allow for the use of CCTV video equipment to tape an employee in the performance of their duties. The team agrees that if the CCTV equipment should not be used for monitoring employees' work performance, then a video camera should not either. Okay? And so it has in here the language that you're going to need. It's the team would like to point out section from the ASM 273.172 addresses the use of CCTV closed-circuit TV in monitoring employees' performance. 273.172 policy. The Postal Service uses CCTV systems for the protection of its employees, mail, and postal assets, and to monitor automated mail flow operations. The purpose of CCTV systems is to provide visual verification in conjunction with intrusion detection devices or exit alarms in doors equipped with exit alarms or access control devices. CCTV systems are to function as deterrents and if a crime occurs in the monitored area to record evidence of it. The administrative and security uses of CCTV systems are limited to the following. So this is limited to the following. Prohibitions. Now this says below is an excerpt from the MI AS 882-2007-6, which provides some guidance on the subject of videotaping an employee. Prohibitions. Handheld and cell phone cameras. Cameras or cell phone cameras functions may not be used by Postal Service employees or contractors in restrooms, locker rooms, retail counter areas, med processing areas, workroom floors, or any other areas unless approved by an area or headquarters vice president or his or her designee for business purposes. Okay? And that's MI AS-882-2007-6. And that's what you're going to look up, okay? So there's requiring us to sign a locally generated form, taking pictures of us, and also videos of us, okay? And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to file grievances when management violates the agreement. We're just going to file grievances on them, okay? I don't give a fuck if people like it or not. Don't get on from 8 arbitration if you don't like it. I'm going to run through this briefly. This is the undelivered mail. This is off of Parcels of Knowledge, okay? And this is Joshua Shroom. He put this up and I stole it. I told him I was going to steal it, but I stole it. And if you go to his Joshua Shroom, the Parcels of Knowledge podcast, you're going to go down to episode 103. Okay, episode 103, and it's going to have this episode for you about the delayed mail. But I'm going to read just a few things because I love this, that he put it up. He's got the contractual citations that you're going to need for management willfully delaying the mail, which is going on like crazy. He's got laws relevant and applicable to the issue read in relevant part. He's got that. You're going to get all this stuff. It's right there for you. It's United States codes. Got that in there. I'm going to get down to his issue statement. The ELM. He's got that language in there for you. Handbook M39. M41 language. The EL handbook. He's got that stuff in there. Exemplary issue statement. Okay. Did management violate Article 3 and or 5 via 39 U.S. Code 101, 39 U.S. Code 3691, 39 U.S. Code 1011, 18 U.S. Code 1703 and or 18 U.S. Code 1693, Article 30 via items in your LMOU, Article 19 via the National Color Code Policy, POM 621 and or M 661, and or Article 8.5 of the National Agreement in its curtailment of first-class mail on date and or its distribution of overtime or lack thereof, and if so, what is the appropriate remedy? If you go to his Facebook page, Joshua Shroom, you're going to go all the way down to April, okay? And this will be down on there for you to download. Since Mallory is out of pocket because of that sweet, precious baby, I would have her put this up for me, but I'm not going to bother her because she's got a sweet angel now she's taken care of. And so I'm not bugging her at all because I know how that is to have those sweet angels when they're first born. And so if you go to Joshua Shroom's Facebook page, go all the way down to April, you're going to see this. It'll be there for you to download, okay? Suggested items of the request for information. Any and all emails and other communications in making the decision to delay mail. The DCV report or any other report management uses to report the curtailment, delay of mail. Time to interview carriers, clerks, and management. Copies of scanner messages sent to carriers concerning bringing mail back by a certain time. Work hour workload report. Copies of PS Forms 1571 and PS Forms 3996. Daily schedules and overtime desired list. Make sure to prove the classes of mail that are being delayed because POM 621 requires only certain mail types to be delivered upon the day of receipt, such as first class and priority. And that's where you're going to get a lot of them because they're curtailing DPS, entire routes. Incorporate the OIG reports below, which all indicate that this is a violation of the National Color Code Policy, and they reinforce POM 621's legitimacy and expected compliance. Interviewing carriers or gathering statements from them as to what they were told when they curtailed mail in the morning or brought back mail in the afternoon, evening. Often management will tell a carrier to cut mail in the morning in order to pivot on another route, or the carrier will receive a message on their scanner to be back by a certain time. You should ask questions as to what they were told and by whom. Also try to get as many details from them as possible to document how many days the mail was brought back. Interviewing patrons to articulate the harm to the community. Exemplary interview below. Now to me, the NELC should be doing this. We should be getting these reports directly from the branch presidents to the business agents to national. And we should be taking these things in front of Congress. I tell people all the time, I'm going to be the biggest snitch there ever was when I'm executive vice president. You're not going to continue to degrade our service. I'm telling on you. Okay? My people on my route depend on me to deliver the mail that's coming to them. They depend on that. And so this is good stuff. Interviewing management to pinpoint who made the decision to retard the mail and requesting their PS Form 61 oath of office form so you can place obstruction of mail on a particular person. If the carrier is told to curtail mail in the morning or bring back mail in the afternoon, they should ask for a PS Form 1571 to record the amount of mail they did not deliver. Management has an obligation to provide them with a form and indicate what they plan to do. Also, management is required to sign the form, and if the carriers ask, give them a copy for their records. These forms will be a good record for agreements to indicate how often mail is curtailed. M39 and M41 language is attached. If the carrier is told to curtail mail to pivot or to be back by a certain time, if they don't carry their assignment as outlined in Article 41 1C4, you could reference that as well. Although the POOM states management can pivot, that's Postal Operation Manual, they must follow contractual provisions. M1292 states that they have to abide by the language in 41 1C4, the JCAM language, and M1292. If there are ODL or PTF CCAs not scheduled or the ODL available is not maximized, the full routes don't get delivered, you could use that as a contention that carriers are available to deliver the mail instead of the decision to delay it. Don't forget you have to prove who is on what list and the fact that they are available. Management should be reporting the delayed mail each day, so requesting the curtailed mail report, delayed mail report, would be a good reference for your grievance. If management is not properly recording the mail that is curtailed or counting it for the next day for the carrier to case and take out, it could be another contention and a potential violation of the Step 4 settlement M1664. It states management will accurately record the volume into DOIS. M1664 is attached. I'm telling y'all need to get this and file on these. This is great stuff he did. Often management will cite Article 3, management's rights. Article 3 says that they have a right to manage, although they must not violate the contract laws to do so. They will often say it was an emergency. We should be able to prove no emergency existed. Also, we can cite Article 5, violation of the law, such as the Postal Reform Act of 2022. There is ELM language attached that talks about the delay of mail. ELM section 667.17 talks about obstructing the mail. ELM 661.2Q talks about prohibition against delay of mail. Please caution your carriers and or stewards of recording and or taking pictures of mail that is delayed. ELM section 667.21 prohibits this, and management could potentially issue discipline to them. Although I have taken numerous pictures of mail curtailed because management was falsifying our curtailed mail report. Exemplary interviews. Customers, don't ask questions you don't know the answer to. Pre-interview them to make sure they fit the scope of what you're looking for so you don't waste your time. State your name and address. How many years have you lived or operated a business at your current address? How would you describe the consistency of your mail delivery? Is it common for you to go an entire day without receiving any mail at all? Do you generally receive your letters, bills, and packages at roughly the same time each day? Did you ever witness a mail truck drive past your home without stopping only to have no mail delivered that day? Have there been days where you received a package but did not receive your regular mail? How often does this occur? Once a month, once a week? Have you ever checked your Informed Delivery Digest and seen that mail was supposed to arrive but it didn't show up until days later? Have you ever noticed carriers delivering only packages in the evening while skipping the mailboxes for letters? As a customer, what is your reaction when you see a postal vehicle on your street but your first-class mail remains undelivered? Have you ever experienced any late fees or missed deadlines because a bill or legal document was delayed? How long has this inconsistently been occurring? And got several others. And then he's got all the OIG reports there to be downloaded. All right, so people reaching out about delayed mail things all the time. If I'm you, I'm going to go on to Joshua Shroom's podcast, Parcels of Knowledge, and I'm going to find that episode. All right, if you go to his Facebook page, Joshua Shroom, SHRUM, Joshua Shroom, you're going to go down April 15th. Go down to April 15th. You're going to see it says, in this episode of Parcels of Knowledge, we talk about the OIG giving an early Christmas gift, our undelivered mail grievance template. And the template's going to be right there for you. copy that off. You'll have the contract language or references to it, okay? And so, yeah, that's great stuff. We may get more in depth than that later, but I'm extremely sleepy. I'm tired. I'm tired as hell, man. I'm telling you, we just drove all the way from Omaha, Nebraska, and my ass is wore out. And so I want to read this one thing because somebody sent me this, and this is exactly what Josh was talking about. Somebody sent me this, and this is just how crazy we are right now with the shit that's going on. Our office has started curtailing mail in the AM and told us it's because district wants only 45 minutes in the office. Today, the third class was cut again, and we were told it's our job to manage our coverage to not hit penalty. That set me off as it's our responsibility. They'll go after us if we dare hit penalty. So in this station, they're curtailing mail to make sure that they meet a 45 minutes of office time. We're not delivering mail because we want to make sure the carriers get out of the office in 45 minutes. We should have addressed this when it was an hour office time. We should have gone after that when it was an hour office time. Now they're curtailing mail, deliverable mail, to make sure that we have a 45-minute office time. And people say, well, hey, they have that right to do that on Article 3. They can curtail the mail. They're doing this to make sure that we have a 45-minute office time. Here's my problem with that. You got to make sure that management is documenting every day the amount of mail that's curtailed. Making sure that they're logging that. Because we're in the middle of 6-day count. This time period they can use for 6-day counts. They're intentionally manipulating our AM office time. They're intentionally doing that. Now, what happens if we go into a joint process? If we go into a joint process and they pull up all of our clock rings for that time, and they say, all right, well, every day y'all are showing that y'all are getting out of the office in 45 minutes, and your street time is low, so we're going to cut y'all's routes based on that, and management has not documented every day that they're curtailing however much to make sure that we're getting out of the office in 45 minutes. So we could be adversely affected in a 6-day count, and we could be adversely affected in a joint process if management is not documenting how much mail is curtailed. Now, we can request a curtail slip. We can do that and keep doing that. But if they're not putting in that volume, and then they go in and these joint teams go and they start looking at all these stations and they're like, well, here's a station that looks like they're short. We're going to go in there. Management's going to say, look at Belmead Station. They're getting out in 45 minutes and they're not curtailing any mail because management's not putting that in any reports. They're showing that they could be, hey, we could take about 6 hours out of that station. Well, that's a route I've lost. So they're manipulating things now. Curtail mail to get out in 45 minutes. But that's what we're up against. So, but I'm telling you, one of the hardest issues we're going to have when we take over is getting the carriers to understand that we're going to fight at all times, that it's not wasted, right? People are like, what's the difference? Look, we've been doing this for so long. Our grievances aren't being heard. There's a backlog. We've got to get the mindset back that we're going to fight. We're going to have to get the mindset back to our shop steward that things just aren't nitpicked. A violation is a violation. There is no level of abuse that we should take, ever. At the top, we're going to have to understand that we're in a street fight and we need street fighters. Okay? You've got people that are victims of their own doing. Okay? You got people reaping what they've sowed. And they want to blame everybody else. We've got to stand the fuck up. Quit casting blame. Man up, and fight. Okay? That's to everybody. Don't cast blame on your own undoing. Don't do that. Fight. All right? Friend or foe. You like me, don't like me. Fight. That's what you do. But, hey, I love you. I love you. Everybody in light blue, I love you. Whether you like me or not, you hate me or not, you call me this and that, I don't care. When I get in there, we're fighting for light blue. If you're light blue, just understand I'm going to fight for you. We're going to educate the workroom floor on how to fight. We're bringing that back. We're going to be the lions. We're going to be the lions. We're going to be the apex predators when we take over. That is the mindset that we're going to instill in every single individual in light blue. In everything that we do, that's how it's going to be. Okay? I love you with all my heart, light blue. I do. It's all I know. It's all I've done for 34 years, 34 summers, 34 winters. It's all I've done. It's all I know. And so when we're going to get in there, we're going to start turning tables over. All right? We're going to start wrecking shit. But, and it's past time. It's past time. So we'll be in Vegas this week. My son's getting married, so I will not be having an episode next Sunday. I will have one next Monday. We'll go over some discipline people send me, and then 271G, okay? Understand that I love you, all right? You may not like me. I may be castor oil to some. I may be castor oil to some, but I will help you in the long run. Understand I'll be there for you. You will never have to turn around and ask where I'm at. I will be right there. I will always be right there. When it comes time to get funky, understand that you won't have to look around and say, where's Corey? I'll be right there with you, side by side, all right? And we're going to take over this motherfucker in just a few months, and I'm going to show you exactly what I've been talking about. So I love you. I love you. Y'all take care of yourself. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Hope I'll see some of y'all in Vegas. I'll be there a day, then I got to split, get back to my son's wedding. But take care of yourself, Light Blue. I love you, all right? Here's something for you.
You watch those nature documentaries on the cable?
Yeah.
See the one about lions?
Yeah.
Get this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there. He's laying down under a tree in the middle of Africa. He's so big. He's so hot. He doesn't want to move. Now, the little lion cubs, they start messing with him. Biting his tail, biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. The lioness, she starts messing with him, coming over, making trouble. Still, nothing. Now, the other animals, they notice this, and they start to move in. The jackals, hyenas, they're barking at him, laughing at him. They nip his toes and eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get closer and closer and bolder, till one day, that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everybody, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is. It's too late to be scared. It's time to kill. I'm going to the other room. You come out when you're ready. Don't beat him. Kick his ass. Every day I'm hustling.